All right, here we are. This is the MMFM 2023 pre-event webinar, which will go over a lot of the 411 for the 2023 MMFM conference, which is starting next week, September 18th and 19th at a brand new venue. So glad you guys are all here because this will be a first for all of us at the Miami Beach Convention Center that we are very excited to bring you in just a couple of days. So I think that we're in a pretty good spot here, and we can definitely start to go through some stuff. I'm going to, just before we start, I did want to go ahead and unmute Patty so she can say a few words and kick it off. She's been doing a lot of the logistical work as well, which is a really, 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 really big job this year because of the venue. So I'll let Patty say a few words. All right. There you are.
Can you hear me? Hi, everybody.
Yes.
This is going to be a really kick-ass conference. It's so good to see all of you. It's been really challenging because the convention center is not our usual Biltmore Hotel where it's more cozy, but I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic conference. We're going to get a lot of stuff done. And next year in June, we'll be back at the Biltmore, God willing. And thank you all for registering, and we're here to get you all work and promote Miami-Dade County as a global hub. So break a leg, everybody, and let's get this done. And see you next week.
Awesome. Thank you, Patty. All right. So in terms of the venue logistics, Patty just mentioned it's a new venue. And so we are going to have signage up, and we're going to have ways for you to get to where you need to be. But, just so you know, everything is happening on the second floor, rooms 211 and 212. All the main panels will be happening in room 211. There is parking available at the facility. I think it's like $20 for the whole day, or 30 for valet. I know there's maybe some other cheaper places, but that's the easiest way. And just make sure you get to the second floor and get your way over to 211, where we'll have our registration booth so you guys can pick up your badges. And if you're not sure when your meeting is, we'll have someone to help you with your one-to-one meeting time slot and location as well. And always good for these conferences to try to get there early and just get your bearings of where everything is. So when it is time for your meeting, you know exactly where to go, because these meetings, and we'll get into a little more detail later, were very highly selected. We had a lot of folks this year that submitted projects at one of these meetings. So if you did receive a meeting spot, first, congratulations. But just make sure that you are on time and that you do check in several minutes before your meeting time. If, again, for whatever reason, and we'll get into it later, you can't attend a meeting, please email Joe Garcia, who's on the call as well, right away, so that we can make some adjustments, get some folks on the waiting list. If there's other folks you want to meet with, you can also go to the registration table and make a special request during the conference, and we'll do our best to accommodate everyone. But let's move into some of the fun stuff. So we all know where it is, the Miami Beach Convention Center. It's really big. It has multiple halls, but yeah, as long as you get to second floor, room 211 and 212, you are in the right spot. So what we're going to go over now is the program, which is going to be really cool this year and a little bit different. So I'm going to do a share screen for the next few minutes and just really go over our program. And I'm going to use the website as a guide, and that's super important because this year we are going digital. So we're going to have the official agenda will always be on the website, but we're also going to have QR codes at the venue that you can just point and click, as everyone does now with their phones. We all got used to that during COVID with the restaurants and the menus. So this is our QR menu here, is our agenda. So hopefully you guys are seeing what I'm clicking through at the moment here. And you see, if you click on the top, MMFM 2023 agenda at a glance, we now have live the full agenda. So you can click here, and that will take you to a online version of our official agenda for the conference, which obviously is loading slowly, but there it is. And so you'll see it mimics exactly our printed version. And so you'll be able to go in through every step of the process and see what we're going to be doing this year at MMFM from start to finish. This year, we are, again, September 18th and 19th. Both days start right at 9 a.m. So get there early with a little bit of cafecito, do some morning networking for the first hour. Super important, especially the first day, to just kind of meet the folks in the room and kind of get to know who everybody is. We'll make some brief announcements, just welcoming everyone. And then it's really going to be up to you guys to start chatting with each other before our first panel, which this year is going to be the Producers Forum. And so as you've noticed, the theme this year is we've sort of categorized things into three things, which is your Miami-Dade, the UK, and Spain, which are our top two international partners. So in this particular Producers Forum, we're going to hear straight from producers and filmmakers from each region. Joe Menendez, who recently moved back to South Florida from Los Angeles, he was at MMFM last year, and he's a hometown producer and filmmaker now. And he's going to be speaking, as well as Stuart McKinnon, who's been at the conference a couple of times last year as well, who is out of the UK and produced, among other things, Amazon's The Man in the High Castle, which was a very successful Emmy Award-winning show for them. And a new feller that's coming this year, we're really excited about, Gustavo Ferrada, who is the head of scripted at MediaCrest, which is one of Spain's top production companies. You guys can check out their bios as well on the website, by the way. There's a speaker gallery, and get a sense of who Gustavo is. And they work across film, television, reality. They also have done animation. He was a producer on the Oscar-nominated film Klaus for Netflix as well. And so he's going to be joining us out of Madrid. So we're super excited about the three producers to kick things off in our Producers Forum. Then right after that, you'll notice that in previous MMFMs, we're like back-to-back panels while we have private rooms at private meetings in a separate venue. That said, this year we're not doing that. We really want to focus on these meetings, and there is a little bit more limited space. So you'll see that there is not an 11 panel. That's actually the first round of private meetings. So if you were scheduled for a private meeting with Spain on day one, that will happen in this slot right here. Between 11:05 and 11:55, you see that these slots are very specific. So again, if you did register and received a meeting slot, make sure that you are in room 211, which is the same room as the panel discussion. And you'll be able to go in and have your meetings with our Spain delegation this year, including Gustavo Ferrada and Patricia Motilla from Anderson in Spain. And that will be the first meeting slot at 11:05. 12 o'clock, we're going to go. This is going to be really unique and really cool. You probably have seen some emails going out, but we are actually, as MMFM, launching an innovative film incentive for animation. And this is something that we're doing ourselves in partnership with some great people, including our training partners at Magic at Miami-Dade College. So you're welcome to attend this session as well and learn about how you can get involved in the animation business, which we're doing to help create new job opportunities for local animators and VFX people and graphic designers right here in Miami-Dade County. A lot of the heads of the college will be there as well. We're going to unveil our brand new animation show reel, which is kick-ass. So we're very excited about this particular presentation at 12 noon. And then right after that, we're going to have our break. So the Industry Roundtable is a private event that was organized initially by one of our partners. So obviously you would have received a one-to-one invite for that, but that's a closed door meeting that one of the MMFM partners had requested. So, but during that time, if not, you would be on a 1 hour break for the 1 to 2 p.m. spot. But then at 2:15 on the dot, we are going to have our second panel of the day, which is the Miami-Dade Industry Mavericks. This is a little twist on our Miami Filmmaker Mavericks, or our Miami Film Mavericks. And we're going to be introducing our new film commissioner for Miami-Dade County, Marco Giron, who hopefully will have a very, very cool announcement about a new high-impact film and TV incentive for Miami-Dade County, which could be a huge game changer for us in the next few months. So we're super excited about that. We're also bringing another new speaker this year. It's another Gustavo, but there's two Gustavos this year. Gustavo Aparicio is the managing director of Spanglish Movies, which is based in Miami. And so he's a former Fox executive when Fox was Fox. Originally, and he'll talk a little bit more about this on the panel, he had pitched the idea of doing a sort of Latino Fox Searchlight for the U.S. Hispanic industry. And so, unfortunately, I guess that pitch didn't go well. They decided not to go with it. So he left with a few of his partners to start his own company and is building exactly that. They do film development. They get involved in financing and production and marketing, distribution, all that kind of stuff. And they're a real unique gem of a Miami company that's going to be joining us. Also, Bruno Del Granado, he spoke a few years back, and he's back this year. He's been very busy touring with some of his clients, and he's the head of Latin touring for CAA, but he also represents a lot of actors, I believe maybe some filmmakers as well. But he does a lot of movie deals. And, you know, if you guys have been hearing a lot of buzz lately about CAA, you know, they were recently acquired for $7 billion. You know, they also recently acquired my former agency, ICM. So they really are, I would say, arguably the #1 talent agency in the world right now. So we're very lucky to have Bruno joining us on this panel. And then to get a sense of what film and TV means to Miami Beach in particular, the head of tourism and culture, Lisette Garcia Rogante, will be on that panel as well, which, you know, you're going to notice this theme. It's all about business. They're actually offering a micro grant for local films shot in Miami Beach, which I believe could fund your entire project. It's small, you know, maybe 15, 20K. So she's going to be offering information on how you can potentially get a grant if your next story is set in Miami Beach, which is kind of cool for our local independent filmmakers as well. And then you'll see right after that, there will be no more panels the rest of the day. So from as soon as we wrap the Miami Industry Mavericks, we're going to be going right into the afternoon private meeting session. So if you did book an afternoon meeting, again, congratulations. And you'll see that there's very specific time slots for that as well. So make sure that you check in early at registration and let the folks know that you're there and that you're ready to take the meetings, because we are going to be very strict. So if you have 10 minutes, it's 10 minutes on the dot. If it's 15, it's 15 on the dot. So just make sure that you check in early for either the Miami date or the UK meetings if you were able to snag one of those spots. And then from 4 to 6, we're going to be having our little wine and networking. So we're going to start the wine passing out and the fun at 4 o'clock as well. So if you didn't have a meeting or you're waiting for your meeting, you can hang out in the mezzanine area starting at 4 p.m. As the late, great Jimmy Buffett said, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. So in our case, that will start at 4 p.m., which will be a lot of fun. So then going on to day 2, September 19th, once again, starting at 9 a.m. For an hour of morning networking with some cafecito, and then going right into meetings. So there won't be a 10 a.m. panel. We're actually going to be doing the morning session meetings at 10 a.m. So if you booked a Spain meeting on the Tuesday, it starts at 10 a.m. So again, just make sure you check your emails and that you're there at least 15 minutes early to check in for your meeting, because they're going to be going back to back, and we're going to be very strict on time with that. Spain, Tapas of Mind, that will be the panel immediately following the morning Spain meetings in the same room. And that will be headed by the 2 folks taking the Spain meetings, Patricia Motilla, who was at MMFM last year, and Gustavo Ferrada from MediaCrest, which I mentioned is new this year. And they will be talking about all the updates on how you can access financing and co-produce with Spain. They have really aggressive tax credits. And because Motilla is also obviously a lawyer, and she has many other positions in Madrid with the Madrid cluster, but she's looking for creative ways to co-produce with Miami-Dade. So it's very important to understand the business side of this as you're putting your project together. And if there's a way that you can co-produce with Spain, that could help get your project fully financed and greenlit. So definitely want to check that out on the international side of things. So then we'll have our lunch break, again, an hour earlier that day at 12 noon. And you'll have an hour break. And then at 1 o'clock, we'll be back with our last panel of the conference with our friends from the UK. We've done similar sessions before, but this is a new update. The UK can do it. Remember, a lot of the tax laws have changed recently. A lot of the film incentives have evolved and changed as well. So Adrian will be back the head of Film London and the British Film Commission to tell us the latest and greatest on what the UK is doing to support their local industry, as well as some unique things that they're also doing in the animation and digital media space as well. You know, a lot of folks in that, you know, are used to getting a lot of work because of the big incentives in the Hollywood films. As we know, they're all on strike now, unfortunately, as the WGA and SAG strikes continue to linger. So, you know, everyone's pivoting. So this could be an opportunity for a lot of our independent filmmakers as well, especially those working internationally. So you definitely want to check out Adrian Helena and our UK producer, Stuart McKinnon, on that panel. And then, as you will see, for the rest of the afternoon, it's meetings from 2 to 3. Our Miami-Dade project, day 2 meetings will be happening. So if you booked one of those spots, again, make sure you check in 10, 15 minutes early, let everyone know you're there. And those meetings will be starting right on time. So you want to make sure that you are around. And then the UK project meetings will be right after that. And then we will have our second day of networking from 4 to 6 with some special announcements before we wrap up the conference in 2023. So it's going to be tight, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And you know, if you are preparing, again, the big thing is we're going to run everything on time, Miami time, not Cuban time this year. So make sure that you are there when you're supposed to be there, but definitely try to be around as much as possible, because there's going to be a lot of new information that's going to be handed out in each and every session to get your next projects off the ground. So with that, I am going to switch off screen share, and we're going to just talk literally for a few more minutes about these one-to-one meetings. I'll have my colleague Joe Garcia join the call now and just go over any final 411 if you did book a meeting slot. So go ahead, Joe. Let me unmute you.
Okay. One of the things to keep in mind, as JL said, is, you know, we had so many submissions. We had not almost 100 submissions of like really quality projects. And sometimes, you know, people had 3 or 4 great projects, and, you know, we had to sort of spread the wealth. So the good news is if you wanted to talk to person A and person B and you only got person B, stick around. These people tend to be pretty available on their own. They tend to be very eager to meet with you. Remember, these people are not suffering through meetings with you. These people are partially here to meet with you. They're interested in what you're doing. They're interested in helping you. They're here to help. So avail yourselves of that help. There will be, essentially, for your purposes, no Wi-Fi. Just make peace with that, there will be no Wi-Fi. It's a long, painful story. Why not? So if you're going to do a reel, if you're going to do you know, don't count on downloading anything. Already bring it on a flash drive, load it on your tablet, be ready to go. Again, be available, because you don't know when somebody will want to swap a slot with you. Or maybe somebody else has to cancel and you get an opportunity to talk to that second person you wanted to talk to. You know, one of our friends, you know, not here this year because she's working on a novel, Karen Hall used to say, don't be the person who quits before the miracle. So if you didn't get everything that, you know, immediately given, booked for you, just stick around. And also network with your fellow attendees. You don't know who's going to come to your rescue in the year 2027. Just you're either networking or not working. I cannot emphasize this enough. Okay. Times will be very, very tight. We've had to squeeze some things to make everybody fit. So as a courtesy to everybody else, please be on time, and when your time is up, say thank you, stand up, shake hands, and move on. Pretty please. You know, I'm very nice. Other people might not be so nice. So if you have any additional questions on that, you know, please put them in the chat and JL will read them out and we will address them as best as we can.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you for that. And so with that, I think we've pretty much done the run of show for the conference. So now we will open it up to some questions. So let's see who we have here from Pete Capo. What format are the one-to-one meetings? So essentially, and Joe, you can chime in as well. It's either a 10 or 15-minute slot, a brief intro, but I would get right into it. And so you're basically going to be sitting at a small table across from whoever you're meeting with. And you're going to have, 10 to 15 minutes to kind of just explain who you are, a little bit of your background, what your project is, what it's about, how it could fit in with whoever you're meeting with. So definitely do your research. Again, all of the bios are on the website, on the speaker gallery. So everyone that you're meeting with should be there. If they're not, you can either Google them or email us, and we'll give you a little bit more detail into whom you're meeting with. But basically the idea is, pitch them your project and how you guys can potentially work together, whether it's a co-production with the UK, whether it's an IP idea that doesn't really set anywhere. And you'll be able to, as Joe mentioned, if you do have some audio visual, make sure you download it beforehand, because we have very limited public Wi-Fi and it's not going to be strong enough probably to stream a clip or a video. So make sure you have all that material pre-downloaded before your meeting. And so that's really going to be the format of the meeting. And again, they are going to be private. We've done our pitch sessions during our panels before publicly, but we're not doing that this year, and we're giving you guys more time.
Yeah, and also make your life, rehearse your presentation, time yourself. You don't want to be in the middle of like your big punchline, only to have to say, sorry guys, your time is up.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. Good point. So Ale asks, our show is specific to Miami-Dade and we were scheduled during the Spain slot instead of the Miami-Dade time period on day 2. Is this correct? Thank you.
It is correct. It is correct. Those are the people who expressed an interest in that project. However, we will try to accommodate you with some of the Miami-Dade people. There's going to be some open slots towards the end, and we will try to schedule that with those folks once we get into the conference.
Yeah. So again, all those questions, thank you for that question, Ali. Definitely direct them to Joe. And again, we can try to add another meeting. I will say though that Gustavo Ferrada, as a producer, is interested in working in Miami. So there may be interest on his level to explore projects that would also shoot in Miami-Dade County. So there could be a reason for that as well. But again, we'll try to hook you guys up with as many additional meetings as we can, and that will be on a sort of a waiting list, case by case basis. But just make sure that you're constantly checking in with the meeting desk and letting them know, who you want to meet with, how, if your meeting slot isn't working out, whatever, just make sure you give us that information ahead of time. And you can always email Joe Garcia at any time as well. Okay. Do we have any more questions? Okay. Hi, Maylen. Hola. Good morning. In my end, I have a question. After looking at the schedule, are they doing follow-up meetings the next day, or is that an extra day you have for scheduled pitches? So you're saying the follow-up meeting slots on the Tuesday, is that what you're saying? Okay, so that last sort of hour that says follow-up, those were for pickups, but Joe, maybe you want to go into more detail.
Yeah, basically it's kind of a catch-all category. So let us know, oh, I had a really good meeting with so-and-so, and he wanted me to follow up, he wanted me to bring extra material, whatever, let us know, and we will accommodate that as best we can. Remember, we're here to help, and these people want to meet with you. We're just trying to make sure that we're fair to everybody and not letting somebody, not you, Maylen, you're awesome, monopolize a given industry representative's time with one particular project or overburden them with something. So we will try to accommodate you. It kind of falls on you guys to let us know, oh, I was really hoping to talk to this person. Can you see what we can do?
Yeah.
Or I was really hoping to follow up with this person. Can you see what we can do?
Yeah.
But we'll try to accommodate as best as we can.
No, I agree. So yeah, the idea is that you'll have one shot at this meeting. Hopefully, if it goes well, and you guys can exchange information, and then you can have your follow-ups after the conference. Or, if the person agrees and wants to meet you again during the conference, then you guys would schedule that on your own. Or again, the idea is to, always ask, how can I follow up with you? They may give you their email, or, you know, say, look, just get in touch through MMFM. And then, you know, between Joe and I, we will make sure to create that connection after the conference. We have a couple more questions. Isabel Custer said she was told that our meetings would be scheduled and didn't receive any. Isabel, that's not, did she get scheduled, Joe? I think she
Oh,
was.
yes, she
Maybe
is. She's very much
Yeah, so
scheduled.
Isabel, you were scheduled for a meeting, and Joe, hi Isabel, sent confirmation emails earlier this week. So if you didn't get it, please make sure that you email him right away. I'll put his email again here. It's jmg@chemical.org, right?
Yeah, email me personally, and I will make sure that you get your schedule down.
Yeah, so again, everyone who was scheduled for a meeting definitely should have received an email. If you did not, and you submitted a project, but you haven't received any confirmation whatsoever, please email Joe Garcia right away, because it could be that it went into your spam box or something happened. But we definitely sent those communications out. So, and I'm wondering if maybe we should do a general email with the schedule to everyone.
Not a bad idea, and that way people can chime in and respond to that one.
Yeah, so we may do that. We may send the meeting schedule to everyone who's a registered attendee. So you can always check that as well. So we'll try to send that out by tomorrow. But either way, again, if you did submit a project successfully during the time that was allotted and you haven't received any confirmation, make sure you reach out to jmg at chemical.org for that. Okay, so let's see. Jeff says, would you like to know in advance of the conference if we'd like to speak to someone we weren't scheduled for, or should we wait? Okay, so Jeff, if you did receive at least one meeting confirmation, then I would hold off, because every other meeting will be on a waiting list and standby. If you did submit one or more projects and you've received no correspondence about your meeting, then email JMG right away. I think that's the easiest way to answer that.
Yeah.
Andres, you just expressed that the producers of Spain were interested in particular in one project, hence the priority with a pitch team. Does this mean that SAR? So no, Andres, what they expressed was the types of projects that they were looking for. And then, you know, obviously our committee made the decision of who to pair who with, essentially. And so it doesn't necessarily mean that the person you're meeting with has already previewed your project. So I would suggest that you go into the room thinking that this person has never read or heard about your project before. So start from scratch and just really work on a solid, you know, 10 to 15 minute pitch that explains every detail about your project. Don't assume when you go into the room that they already know what your project is about. Javi, the private meeting email did not have the specific persons we're meeting with, although I can probably guess who it is by the company. Can I get a follow-up with? Okay, so Joe, I don't know if there's a way to specifically state who the meetings are with in a follow-up.
Yeah, go ahead, Javi, go ahead and send me an email. I'll let you know if your meeting was with, let's say, Film London, I'll let you the people who are coming from Film London. So
yeah, I can tell you that in those general categories, for example, UK and Spain, all those meetings in the UK will be with Adrian Wooten and Helena Mackenzie. And they're looking for co-productions, but they're also looking for early IP stage projects, which could just be in the ideation stage, because they have their own conference that starts getting submissions now. It's invite only and it's virtual. That's an IP market. And so there could be a chance that you could get in on that if you're pitching your project to the UK, and they may invite you to that. And then Spain is going to be, as I mentioned before, Patricia Motilla and Gustavo Ferrada from MediaCrest will be the two taking the Spain meetings. Okay, so miladies, hi everyone. What time of project, I'm assuming that means what type of project are they looking for? It will be helpful to know in order to send. So miladies, if you have not submitted a project yet, then it's a little bit too late now. We've closed the project submission. So the best that we can advise is, again, make sure that you're at the conference both days and go to the meeting desk and just say, look, you know, I have a project, but I wasn't selected for a meeting. If you guys can squeeze me in, this is what I want to pitch, and we'll do our best. Melen, so to answer your question, we only sent very brief information to the folks you're pitching with. Literally, it's just like, you know, title and logline, essentially. So again, just kind of go in blind, assuming that they're hearing about your project for the first time. So that's how I would approach it. So they will have very limited information because we really want you guys to do the pitching in the room and really just kind of expand and explain your project in as much detail as possible within the allotted time. Okay, cool. So do we have any more questions? This will be your last time in a group setting to ask any questions. Again, if you do have any questions just after this meeting, then definitely, you know, email Joe Garcia. We've put that email a couple times. I'll put it one more time here, .org, and we'll try to get you a general list of the meetings as soon as possible so that you guys can see, you know, maybe you missed your email. But again, if you did submit a project and you've gotten 0 response back, email Joe Garcia, because it could have been that we maybe did send something and it just didn't hit your inbox. So I think that's, and then again, if that's not the case, but you still, or you were late for the submission deadline and you still are interested in speaking to someone at the conference, again, we can't guarantee anything during those 2 days, but you can always swing by the meeting desk and the registration desk and just let us know, you know, who you are and who you'd like to meet with, and we will do our very best. Also, very important, if for whatever reason you cannot make a meeting time, something happens, just email us right away or let us know at the conference. Hey, look, I have an emergency this afternoon. I can't make it. You know, I have to give up my slot, because that way we can squeeze someone else in that may be on the waiting list. And then we will try to accommodate you if there is time, if it's possible. So I think that's all the information that I have. Again, miamimediafilmmarket.org is the website. You'll see that all the information there, the agenda's there. We'll work on sending a general meeting schedule to everyone. But, you know, I hope you guys do some great business. I hope you guys have some great meetings, and we're almost there. Awesome. So unless there are other questions, I think we can go. Oh, wait, we have we might have one more here. They got an invitation, but that wasn't really a question. Okay. So cool. I think guys, we're locked. So see you guys at MMFM, and you know, wishing you the best. Break a leg.
Break a leg.
All right, guys. Have a good rest of your day.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.